Hi, Steve Sterling here from the End Time Prophecy eCourse website, the End Time Prophecy eCourse Facebook page, and the End Time Prophecy eCourse YouTube channel. Welcome. I'm going to do a quick video on the rapture issue because while most of us who are considered to be diligent students of the scriptures, especially of Bible prophecy, do not believe in the rapture, I think there might be some of us who, while we reject this idea, are still not able to explain certain texts which the rapture advocates use to defend their argument. And one of the main texts that they use to defend their argument is found in Matthew chapter 24, and we are going to start to read from verse 37. It says, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, one shall be taken, and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, one shall be taken, and the other left." And verse 42 says, "Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come." And so the rapture advocates use this text to say, well, the one that was taken is taken to heaven, and the one that is left in the earth to face the tribulation, so to speak. Now, I have heard from several people who I consider to be good prophecy students, and it seems to me as if they have some misunderstanding about this text. But the explanation of the text is very simple. First, to begin with, Jesus is using the condition of a former age to illustrate what the condition will be in our day just before his coming. As simple as that. Now, I think this is one of the rare cases where Jesus gave the explanation before he gives the parable. Let me explain. Jesus tells us what the condition of our age will be just before his coming. He told us that it will be like the days of Noah. Now, you can take that as the explanation of a parable that is to come afterwards. The parable is the part where we begin to say, two shall be in the field, one shall be taken, and the other left. Two in the field, one shall be taken, and the other left. It's just an abstract sentence, right? It has no explanation. Two men shall be grinding at the mill, one shall be taken, and the other left. It is an abstract sentence. This sentence does not contain a lot of vital information. So it requires some amount of explanation in order for us to understand what Jesus is trying to say. Now, here is the explanation, and the explanation of the parable is found in the former illustration. We're going to look at elements in the parable and match it with elements in the explanation. Let us go back to the explanation in verse 38. "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." So, in the explanation, we see a scenario where a set of people, all unconcerned, living their lives carelessly, and suddenly the flood came and took them all away. Now, what is the element in this explanation that we can match with the parable itself? I want you to notice this phrase, "and took them all away." That's what the flood did. The flood came and took them all away. And Jesus is saying, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So in the coming of the Son of Man, it is going to be a set of people, all unconcerned, living their lives carelessly, until something comes and take them all away. Isn't that what Jesus is saying here? Remember, he is comparing the days of Noah with our day. A flood came and took away all those who were living their lives carelessly and were not concerned about their soul. So it is going to be in the day of the coming of the Son of Man. People are going to live their lives carelessly, all unconcerned about their soul, until something, a special event, comes and take them all away. Now, let us get back now to the parable. "Then shall two be in the field, one shall be taken, and the other left." Now, let us look at the element of this parable. Two shall be in the field, one shall be taken. Now, who is the one that shall be taken? The one that shall be taken is comparable to the people who were taken away by the flood. Isn't that so? So the one that shall be taken is the one that will be lost. And the other that is left is the one that will be saved. It is not a case where the one that shall be taken is taken to heaven. Compare the parable with the explanation. In Noah's day, the people who were living their lives carelessly were taken away. In the last days, two shall be in the field, one shall be taken, like those in the days of Noah who were taken by the flood. And those that are left are those who will be saved, just like Noah and his family. After the people who were living their lives carelessly were all dead as a result of being taken by the flood, Noah and his family are left. So this parable is not necessarily talking about who will be taken to heaven and who will be left back on the earth. No, it is talking about those who will be killed by a certain event to come and who will remain after that event is past. And we all know that when Christ comes, the brightness of his coming shall slay the wicked. And who will remain after that? His people. The people of God will be left standing after all the wicked are struck dead on the earth. We are going to go to Luke chapter 17 to give more clarity to this matter. Luke chapter 17 and verse 35 talks about the same parable, right? We're going to read from 35 all the way to 37. It says, two women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two men shall be in the field, one shall be taken and the other left. Now this is going to answer the question as to where the one that is taken is taken. I was reading an article, I don't remember where, but it is written by an advocate of the secret rapture. And in their explanation of this verse, they are saying that the question is not where they shall be taken, but where they shall be left. Their explanation is, the question is seeking an answer as to where the one that is left is left. But I greatly disagree with that. I believe that that is a ridiculous answer, because there is no question as to where the one that is left is left. The Bible said two men shall be in the field, one shall be taken and the other left. Now, if two men are in a field and one of them is taken away, it is quite obvious that the one that is left back in the field. So the question wouldn't be seeking an answer for that, because it is quite obvious where the one that is left is left. The question is obviously seeking an answer as to where the one that is taken is taken. And the question is answered in verse 37. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord? In other words, taken where, Lord? And the Lord is giving us the answer now that is going to put an end to this controversy as to where they are taken. And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. In other words, those who are taken will be taken to be eaten by eagles and scavenger birds. And what text come to mind when you read that? Revelation 19. Here's what Revelation 19 says. And this is talking about the second coming of Christ. The description of the second coming of Christ started in verse 11 and it continues all the way down to verse 16. And then verse 17 says, And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that he may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive in a lake of fire, burning with brimstone. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So the one that is taken is going to be taken to be eaten by all the fowls of the air, all the scavenger birds that feast on flesh. That is what's going to happen to those who will be taken. And those who are left, those who remain, will be saved. An explanation of this and other end-time prophecies can be found in the End Time Prophecy e-course. go to my website and download the free book, 7 Steps to Becoming an End Time Prophecy Expert in 48 Hours. And it will give you an explanation of the different topics that will be covered in the End Time Prophecy e-course. Until then, continue to study to show yourself approved unto God. This is Steve Sterling, signing out.